Welcome back to the Crochet Crowd. So it's my friends over at yarnspatience.com. We're going to continue our journey with the Flora Afghan. This is May and we are going to do the flower clock. So when you go to look at the downloadable, you now can find the flower clock square just like you see. So what we have here, this is revision number 1. If there are any changes, this revision number will change, and this consists of a total of 13 rounds. Of all the squares, this one is the easiest. So if you're gonna struggle with any of the other squares and you're not sure that you can do it, if you do more of these, you can maybe save yourself some grief. However, you know, it's always nice to be able to push yourself. I'm also gonna be teaching you some stuff today that's not written here, in the sense of giving you some extra tips that you can use elsewhere in your crochet. So we're gonna continue along. We're gonna be using a 6mm size J crochet hook, and I want to show you the mini me version. I've decided to do a threaded version of this, and I'm gonna be showing you that next. So here are my miniature versions. Just like you see, they're a total of 7 inches. The regular one is 14. So I've decided to do like this. This is using a 2mm size something hook. We have to look that up on what that is. What I've done in the book for this particular month is that I've added information about what these colors are and what my goals are, and each time that I'm doing it, I'm just doing a testing of the pattern, doing the miniature versions. So this one is really neat. It's got a little bit of overlays. It's not too complicated, and again, as I said, this one is the easiest one of the entire set. So if you're concerned about anything else, you can see that if you just have fun with this, you can actually make an entire Afghan just of these and really have a lot of fun, like a carnival kind of fiesta atmosphere with it. And you can also make them the same if you prefer that as well. So you ready to get going? Let's start with round number 1. So we're going to begin. You need to make a total of 2 of these for the Afghan. Again, you can make more if you wish. So we're going to just create a slip knot to begin, and I need you to chain 4. This is pretty consistent throughout all of them, is that we're gonna start the same way. So we're gonna chain a total of 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I'm using my Caron 1 pound. So I want to do 11 double crochets in the first chain from the hook. So the 4th one, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's the very first chain that we started with, and I want to do a total of 11. So the chain work that we just skipped over is included as one of the double crochets. So with the 11 that I'm gonna put in with this chain 3, that gives you a number of 12. So I want you just to start, now that we've started, count the first chain as 1, and then 2, and then 3, and etc., and do 12 all the way around, and I'll see you at the end of this round. Once you have your 12 on there, I want you to slip stitch then to the top of the first chaining of 4 that you started with, and then just slip it and slip. And what I want you to do is get rid of the yarn tails at this time. So just grabbing your scissors, cut your yarn, and what I would do, and I didn't show you this, but the back of it I still have all the yarn tails to take care of, but what you can just do is just feed it through, and you can weave it through a few spots here if you would like to, and what that will do is it'll hide it in and it'll trap it in, so you don't necessarily have to sew it in later. Of course, so you can use a tapestry needle to go back and forth in order to hide in all your ends. Throughout this project, what I'm going to be doing is trimming so that it doesn't get too complicated, and I'm gonna be trimming my starting. Hide that in if you haven't done so already, and then just begin to do round number 2. You can change colors as often or as little as you wish in this project. It doesn't matter to me. It's all subjective. So I'm going to start off round number 2. I'm gonna show you a cheating technique. Create a slip knot, and in the pattern it says to join with a slip stitch and chain 3, and that counts as your double crochet, and etc. If you really want the stitches to look really good, what I would do is a standing double crochet. Watch how I do it. I'll demonstrate it twice. So you have your slip knot already on. I want you just to pinch, so push it down so it will not rotate. So if you let it go, it'll rotate. Pinch down and loop the hook once. So wrap around, and then going into the stitch that you want to go into. So wrap and go into the stitch, and then pull through. Noticing that I'm still pinching down, and then pull through 2 and 2. That is a standing double crochet. So I'll do it again. So with the slip knot already on the hook, okay, just pinch so it doesn't want to rotate around, and just wrap once, and going into any stitch I want you to pull through, and then pull through 2 and 2. That is a standing double. So what you want to do for this round is that you want to apply 2 double crochets into each. I'm gonna show you another cheating technique in just a moment, because I'm about to hit where the slip stitch is, which always creates a really awful ugly gap, and I can show you how to hide it without impeding on your work at all. So what we have here, this is where it's showing, and you have the top of the stitch that I just went into, but the next one is not over here. So let me show you what it would look like if you did it as per your regular instruction. Watch what happens. You're gonna put 2 stitches into the next one. Look at that awful gap. You were gonna see it, you were gonna hate it, and it's just the nature of crochet. However, here's how you hide it. So what you wanna do is that, see this where it's joined? Treat that like it's a stitch. It's not, but treat it like it is. And I want you to put the first, you have to keep the stitch count the same. So what I want you to do is go right where it's joined and insert the hook in and pull through, and then pull through 2 and hold it. Then go into the stitch where you're supposed to go and double crochet. And as you finish that stitch, you're going to have 3 loops, pull through all 3. Those 2 just became 1 by doing so. So in order to keep the pattern consistent, there has to be 2 double crochets in this one here. And what that did is that filled in that awful gap, but never changed your yarn count at all for the amount of stitches. So what I want you to do is continue to rotate around and put in 2 double crochet into each of the stitches all the way around. That cheating technique, you can do it anytime in any project when you see that happen, and you will notice that I will do it again in the future. I may not say anything, but that's how I got it to be all consistent, so you don't see any spaces in the circle. So please do that all the way around. 2 double crochet into each. So I'm coming up all the way around, putting my 2 double crochets into the last one, and you should have 2 groups of 2. That one where that I did the special thing, don't count that as 3 stitches, just still count that as 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. What I want you to do, slip stitch to the top of the first and pull through and through, and let's get rid of that yarn again. And I've already shown you how to do that, so please do that again. Let's go into round number 3. So we're gonna create a slip knot to begin. Now you have a choice. You could do it slip stitch to any stitch, chain 3, and that counts as your first double crochet, and then you 2 double crochet in the next, and then 1 double crochet and 2 into the next. You gotta make sure you go into the back loop only. So if you're new to crochet, there's always 2 strands. So together they make up a stitch. If you go in the one closest to you, that's a front loop, and if you go into the one that's furthest from you, that's a back loop. And we wanna play in the back loop just for visual. So what I want to do, see where it's joining here? Remember that really awful gap? We're gonna also do the same technique of hiding it. I'm going to show you one more time of a standing double crochet because I continue to do that now. It seems to be my thing. So now that I have a slip knot, wrap the hook first and pinch, and then going into the back loop only, pull through 2 and 2. And there is your first. So you either can join it and chain up 3, which counts as a double crochet, or you can do a standing double crochet. And now you're gonna do 2 double crochet into the next. So 1 and 2. And so that's gonna be your consistent thing going all the way around. So in the next stitch is just 1, and now we have that gap again. So what I want to do is that I want to fill that in so that it looks like it belongs. So I'm gonna put the first 2 stitches together. So just wrapping it, so the first join and the stitch together. So just going right into the join and pull through 2, and then go into the stitch you're supposed to go into. When you go into that join, stay towards the back of the back loop in order to do it. So just kinda fake it up a little bit so you keep the line being consistent, and then go into the stitch you're supposed to go into, and then pull through all 3. And because this one we're supposed to put 2 in, we're gonna put another double crochet in there. So again, you've just hidden the gap without changing the yarn stitch count. So if you don't want to do that, that's up to you. So it's 1 into the next and 2 into the next one. So that's something that you see projects being done all the time, and you see these gaps, and it's a nature of the craft, but it doesn't mean you have to have it there if you have the skill and desire to want to get rid of it. So please do this all the way around. So it's 1 and then 2 and then 1 and 2 in the back loops only. Now I'm coming up all the way around. The last stitch in is 2 double crochets. Not because I'm telling you that, it's because it's keeping in the count of the repeat. So it was 2 and then 1. So you should technically have the 2 double crochets in the end. Please join. Let's get rid of this yarn and then let's begin another round. So do that now. I'll see you back in a moment. As we move into round number 4, you're gonna see the red area here, and then we have a peekaboo of a color and then red again. So this is 1, 2 and 3. So this is 3 rounds. So what you wanna do is be strategic with that. Which one is gonna be the eye-popping color that creates that shape. You see here I did it like this. So I did white and then we're at the red section now, or the blue at this moment, and we're gonna move on. So you wanna choose your color very carefully on what it makes it look like to be awesome. So let's begin round number 4. Let's begin number 4. So we're gonna stay within the regular stitch work now, so we're not doing the back loops, and what we need to do is we need to start off in one stitch. It doesn't matter which one you start, doesn't really. So what you can just do is you could just insert in, slip stitch, chain 3 counts as your first double crochet, or you can do a standing double. So that was a standing double there, and then we're gonna put in 2 more double crochets. So this entire round there's gonna be a total of 18 groups of these 3 double crochets together. So what I want to do is that I'm gonna skip one and then, sorry, I'm out of the view, and I'm going to go 3 double crochets into the next. So 1, 2 and 3. Okay, and then skip one and then 3 double crochet into the next, and I want you to do that all the way around. This is round number 4. Okay, well, as you get all the way around there should be 18 groups of these 3 double crochets, and I want you to join it to the beginning, and then let's get rid of this yarn and then we're gonna go on to the next round. So let's go on to the next round, and what we're going to do at this moment is this is round number 5. So you see 1, 2, 3, 4. This is gonna be my peekaboo color. It's gonna stand out from the rest. Gonna create my slip knot. So where we're going to join is that I want you to pick the middle of any of the groups of 3. So it's the middle stitch of any group of 3, and you can chain 3 and chain up join and chain 3 to count as a double crochet, or you can do a standing double if you wish, and then you're going to apply 3 more double crochet into that. So you'll notice that I gave instructions of skipping how many stitches to get to the next one, but you know, when you really look at it from a perspective like this, you can easily see where to go next. So see the next group of 3? It's the middle one. So you had to skip a total of these stitches across in order to get there, but if you just look for the middle one of 3, it's no brainer. You can just see it and then just put in 4 double crochets into each. So what I want you to do is 4 double crochets into each of the middle ones in the grouping of 3 below. So jump to the next middle one and continue with 4. Please do that all the way around for this round. So when you get all the way back around, you're just going to slip stitch it to the top of the first one, and the 18 groups of 3 that you had now just turned into 18 groups of 4 double crochets that you had. So now what we want to do is pick up the same color that we had before, and now we're gonna make this into a peekaboo that really kind of resembles the wall clock. Now I know wall clocks have 12 points. This has 18. Big deal, right? If this is the biggest problem that you have today, I think you're having a super day. So let's just weave in our ends and let's begin the next round. So let's pick up our yarn again, and it's gonna be the same color as this, so that this does a peekaboo look. It's kind of almost Mandela related. So what I want you to do is that I want you to grab any first stitch of a grouping of 4. So it's the first double crochet, and what I want to do is a standing double single crochet. So how you do that is that you insert your hook in, and if you don't want to do that, just insert your hook and slip stitch, chain 1 and then single crochet. But if you do it this way, you can save yourself some time. So insert into the stitch you want to go to, wrap the hook and pull through, and don't pull it through this one. You now have your 2 loops. Pull through both. That is a standing single crochet. And I want you to put in a single crochet in each of the remaining double crochets in that grouping of 4. So there's 4 double crochets there. Now we're gonna do an extended double crochet. So what you want to do is see where these are there's a gapping space. That's where you want to play. So what you're gonna do is wrap the hook first and then go right into that space, okay, and then just grab the yarn, pull through, and then give it a bit of slack, okay, just a bit of slack, pull through 2 and 2, and that was an extended double crochet. So starting in the next grouping of 4, so just single crochet in each, so 1, 2, 3 and 4, you're gonna do an extended double crochet down in between where these are separated. So just wrap the hook, going right in, pull the yarn through, give it the same looking amount of slack as you did with the other one, and then finish it. So that's a regular double crochet. So it's an extended version. So please do that all the way around. This is the round. You will notice that I will have advice for slip stitching. I've already given it to you in the sense of hiding in stitch work by just faking a stitch by doing 2 togethers over the top of where things are joined, and you can see that you do a really good job. So that's in the pattern at the moment, but it's something that you can you've already kind of known already because I've covered it. When you get all the way around, you still got to do that extended double down in. So just wrap going in. So that's technically your last stitch. So it obviously you could see I was missing out. So now we're gonna slip stitch and then get rid of this yarn, and then we're gonna carry on. So you'll notice that it's not sitting there. I don't want to flatten it. I can, but it's going to settle out. It will. You watch. So let's get rid of this yarn and begin the next round. So let's begin the next round. It's going to be 1 double crochet in each of the stitches going all the way around. So right where you did the join, you can do that special stitch like I did. So let me just start a few earlier just to make sure that you got it. You can just slip stitch and chain 3 counts as your first double, or you can do a standing double, which I'm about to do. If you put your tail down too, you can hide that as you go. So it's 1 double crochet into each, and I'm just a few stitches shy of where I did the join, and I'll show you how I can cheat that so it looks good each and every time. So I'm going 1 into each. It's about not changing the counts. So the next one here, the stitch is right here, but this join looks like it's in the way. So, and that's because it always takes a little bit of extra yarn. So just wrap the hook, go where it's joined, insert in, pull through 2 and hold it, then go into the stitch that you're supposed to go into, pull through 2 and hold, and then pull through all 3 so that went into that gapping space to hide it, and now it still ends up with 1 stitch at the top. So that's really the only place you have to worry about that. So that's my kind of slip stitching technique that I addressed in the pattern itself. So you're just gonna do 1 double crochet around each, and please do that, and I'll see you at the end of this round. So I'm getting all the way back around, and I'm just going into the very last one, and then I'm just going to slip stitch to the top of the first. So I'm gonna get rid of that yarn, and what I want to do is that I want to actually show you a technique here. You can decide to do this if you would like to. This here is going to pop out and do a nice rim like this. If you would like to do an invisible join, here's what you're going to do. Okay, so instead of just attaching this just like so, what I want you to do is that I want you just to pull up some yarn, okay, and then cut it, and I want you to continue to pull so it's just popping out of this last one. To get the look to be consistent, see these two here? When you loop, they look like they come out of the same ones. So that's what we want to do. So you want to come from the one side out to the other, just like that, and come through. And when you come back to the other one, I'm not gonna pull it tight yet, you want to go down through the middle here. And what that will do when you pull it snug, it will tighten everything up. And stay toward the back side of it using the tapestry needle, and just weave it in and out a total of 3 times. It's an invisible join. You can use that with your stitching techniques, especially with mandalas. When you have stuff like that, it helps you really hide in any kind of imperfections in the joining as well. So it's another technique you can use. You'd only really want to use that when you're changing colors though. So now what we can just do is get rid of this yarn because I've just woven it in. We're gonna move on, and I'm just having fun with my colors. You'll notice that it's not sitting completely flat yet. I'm not worried about it because the next round it'll pretty much come to be flat. And what we're going to do then in the next round, we're going to play in the back post only, and it's gonna fold this up, and then you'll notice that you'll get a nice bowling shape when it'll happen. So let's do that next. So let's begin the next round. So we're going to start off with the slip knot, and we're gonna go into the back post only. So what you can just do, you can do a standing one, or you can just slip stitch around the back post. So if you just go around the back post and then just pull through, and then chain 3. There's your first back post double crochet if you wish, and then you can back post crochet as back post crochet as normal double crochet, or you can do a standing back post double crochet. So just put that on there and then just push down, wrap it once going around the post, and then etc. And then you can lay down that straggler on top so that you can trap it in the next ones. So just going in. Okay, so when you go in, just put that straggler over it and it will get stuck underneath there, and do a few of those just like that. So it's continuing to be 1 double crochet into back post double crochet into each. So you will notice the last 3 rounds all had 90 stitches per round. So we have not increased. So I'm expecting somebody will email saying, how is it possible that you have 3 rounds of the same? Well, if you looked at what we were doing, we haven't increased at all. So we'll start to increase in the next one, and then we'll start noticing that all the more. So you'll notice that this will start to pick up and give a beautiful line as you do that. So there is your texture. So please do that. 1 back post double crochet in each around. I'm gonna give you a little bit of a tip here. What happens sometimes in these back posts, when you go in, sometimes you can miss actually not getting the whole post and you get only a partial, and then you start to go and then you continue to go and you look around and then you realize that one doesn't look right. That's because you got to watch and make sure you get all the strands. So I just technically did that and just a moment ago, and I thought, you know, I'm gonna show you that because I know people are gonna say, I have that, why did that happen? It's because you're not going around the whole post and you only just grabbed a few of the plies that were making up that post. So please do that. Continue all the way around. 1 back post double crochet in each. So I'm coming all the way around, just doing my last back post double crochet, and then I'm going to join it. If you'd like to keep the same color, you can for the next round. I'm not going to. Life's a little short to always use the same colors. So I'm just gonna trim it, get rid of it, and move on and do the next round. The next round is the final in the circle before we start transitioning to make this into a square. So let's do that next. So let's begin, and we are going to go into a regular stitch again. Again, you can go in, slip stitch, chain 3, that counts as your first double crochet, or you can do a standing double. So I'm gonna do a standing double just to be consistent. So I'm gonna just go in, pull through 2 and 2. There it is, and then put another one in there. So if you're doing your slip stitch, chain 3, put another double crochet in there. So this round here is consistent of making it the final growth before we start converting it to a square. So the next what do we have? The next 4 stitches are 1 double crochet. So we're just gonna count to 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then there's gonna be 2 into the next one, and that's gonna be your repeat pattern going all the way around. So there's 2 into this one, and then again there's gonna be the 4. This is where it's joined. If you would like to do that special technique, then just do it. So that's 1 of 4. So put it where the join is. Don't finish it. Go where you're supposed to go, and then pull all 3 loops together, and then that hides it. So that was considered 2 of 4, and 3, and 4, and then put 2 into the next one. These joining techniques of being able to hide, see, it's so hidden it's hard to believe it's even there. So just make sure 4 by itself, 2 into the next, 4 by itself, 2 into the next. Do that all the way around. Okay, so I've been doing my going 2 into there and then 4 into the next. Now this is where there's 2. Now my problem is that I have 5 stitches left, so somewhere along the line here I added a stitch. Am I worried about it? Hell no. So what I want to do is that I want to put 2 stitches together so that I continue to have my 4. It's important that I have my stitch counts right at this moment. So what I want to do is that I want to put the next 2 together, and then that is 1 of 4. The other thing that you can do, if this happens to you, say I have 2 here and then there's supposed to be 4 only, what you can do instead of putting 2 here, you can actually just continue just to single crochet across. So there's technically your 2, and then you have your 4 left over. You can cheat it when you have to, right? So it's easy to cheat it at this particular stage because it'll be hardly noticeable and it'll pull together beautifully. So just join slip stitch it. So I know I'm not supposed to leave those kind of tips in these kind of videos, but when you lay it down flat you can barely tell it's even there, right? So why stress it? You'll notice that it's sitting pretty much flat as well. So let's continue along, and we're now going to convert into the square. So let's start converting to a square. Right where you left off is where I suggest you start. Okay, so right where you did the join, that's where I would start for this particular round. Now we're gonna start off with the treble. You can either slip stitch in, chain 4, that is your treble, or you can do a standing treble. So wrap the hook twice, pinching down, going into the same stitch, pull through 2, 2 and 2, and leaving this underneath the line. So I want you to treble one more time into that same one. So you're gonna finish this corner when you get back around. I'm gonna take you through 2 sides, and then you can reverse this video if you would like to, if you need to, if you can't remember. So the first one will be 1 treble. So I'm just gonna call them out as I do it. So 1 treble. There will be 3 double crochets. So 1, 2 and 3. There will then be 5 half double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Then 8 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Then there will be 5 half double crochets. So we're on the other side, so we're at the halfway point of a side, so we just reverse what we just did. So there will be 5 half double crochets as we head to the next corner. So 5, so 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Then 3 doubles. 1, 2 and 3, and finally 1 treble, and then we're gonna do the corner into the next stitch. Okay, so you'll notice that it's gonna start to squaring off on you. It won't square in the first time around, it'll square in the second. So the next one is the corner. So in this corner there will be 2 trebles followed by chain 2, and in the same stitch I want you to apply 2 more trebles, and that allows you to turn the corner. So I'm gonna take you through another side. It's exactly what we just did. So it's gonna be 1 treble, so wrap twice, 3 doubles, 5 halves, 8 singles, 5 halves, 3 doubles, 3 doubles, followed by 1 treble, and then a corner again. So the corner, to recap, is 2 trebles, chain 2 and 2 trebles. Please do that same idea, just reverse this video if you need to review all that again. It's 1, 3, 5, 8, 5, 3 and 1, and then a corner. Please do that all the way around. So as we come back around, I have the right number of stitches. If you don't, honestly, you can fake it so well. So say I have the right number of stitches, so I should have 4 left at this moment, but say I only have 3. What I could just do is, if I only had 3, there's 3 double crochets supposed to go in here, I would just put an extra stitch in there, and therefore you'll have your balance. That's assuming that you don't think you screwed up anywhere else. Honestly, I do it all the time, so don't tell anybody to do that. And if you have 1 too many, then what you can just do is put 2 together, and therefore you will lose a stitch by doing that. Really, it's almost hard to tell. Okay, so we're gonna finish off our end, and there's 3 double crochets there, and the last one is 1 treble. But we're not quite done. Remember that we only started off with a half a corner, so we're gonna come into the same one that we did with the joining, and we're putting in 2 trebles, and then we're gonna do a half double crochet join to the top. So just wrap the hook going into the top of the first, and then just do a half double crochet, and don't get rid of that yarn, keep it on, and we're gonna begin then the next round. So we have one more round to do some counting, and then you can have a break from counting from that point. So let's begin the next round. We're gonna chain up 3 counts as their double crochet, so you can't do a standing double there, and you're gonna double crochet one more time into the corner. So each one of these the next 3 stitches are each a double crochet. So 1, 2 and 3, and then there's gonna be 3 half doubles. So just 3 halves. So 1, 2 and 3, and now we have a big number to do, 18 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 and 18. So now you just have a few left. So once you have your 18, then you're gonna do halves for the next 3. So 1, 2 and 3. Now if you screwed up in the row below or the round below, you'll see it this time around. The last 3 have 1 double into each. So 1, 2 and 3, and then finally in your corner is always gonna be the same. It'll be 2 doubles, chain 2, 2 doubles. So I'm gonna take you through one more side, and then you can reverse the video if you need to. And you'll notice that it's almost straight. The next round will get it closer and closer to being straight. So the next 3 are 1 double into each. 1, 2, 3. The next 3 are halves. So 1, 2, 3, and then 18 singles. So let's count those out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 and 18. The next 3 are halves. 1, 2 and 3, and the final 3 are doubles. So 1, 2, 3, and then your corner again. So 2 doubles followed by chain 2 and 2 doubles. So just reverse the video if you need to review that again. So it's 3, 3, 18, 3 and 3. Please do that all the way around. So when you get all the way around, you're just gonna finish it off the rounds as you know them. And remember that when you started you only did a partial corner, so right where the corner is you're just gonna put in 2 double crochet first, and then join it with a half double crochet to the top of the first, chain 3. So just wrap and going into the first, pull through, and then pull through everything. So you have 2 more rounds to go, and this is gonna be an accent color that you see in the purple here. So I chose something that kind of ties everything together, and you can see that I tied in the blue with the blue. It's up to you. It's your creativity. You can decide what goes for you. I can see people doing this in a solid color too. It all depends on their mood and what really appeals to them really. So let's move on to the next round. Okay, the next 2 rounds are the final rounds, and they are the simplest thing ever. And you can start off in any corner, doesn't matter which one, and you can start off with the standing double if you wish, or just slip stitch, chain 3, and that counts as your first double. And this one round is just so simple, it's not even funny. It's a little bit of a mental break for you, and you're gonna put another double in there. So there'll be 2, so you're gonna start off with a half a corner. So each stitch is going to be 1 double crochet, and then when you get to the corner it's always gonna be 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet. So no thinking really, just a matter of doing. So 1 double crochet in each, corners 2, 2 and 2. So 2 doubles, 2 chain, 2 doubles, and carry on. I'll see you at the end of this round. When you get back around, make sure that you fill in that final corner with the last half of that turn, and then just join to the top of the first one with a half double crochet join. We have one more round to go, and that's it for today. And you just need to make 2 of them. Remember that if you're struggling with any of the other ones, that this is the easiest one of them all, I feel. So you may think otherwise, but that's okay. Everybody has a different point of view. So what we're gonna do, final round, and this will tie it in with the other ones that you will be making for this particular Afghan. So let's do your final. We're gonna start off with the slip knot. Let's do a standing single crochet. So going into any corner, doesn't matter which one, just insert in, wrap the yarn and pull through, but do not pull through the first loop. Leave the 2 on there and then pull through 2, and that's a standing single crochet. I want you to apply 4 more single crochets into that one. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. So with the standing and the actual forward, that gives you a total of 5. What you need, 5 single crochets. So essentially you're gonna move across, and you're just gonna apply 1 single crochet into each of the stitches going all the way across. In the corners it'll be 5 single crochets as I just showed you. So please do that now, and this is your final round, and we're gonna be wrapping up in just a moment. When you get back around, you've already done your corner by putting in your 5 single crochets, so you're just going to join it to the top of the first single crochet that you started with. Now because this is the final, I would recommend that you get that tapestry needle out, and let's finish it properly, and let's get rid of our loose end right here right now. So you're just gonna turn it around where you can hide yarn, perfect, and sometimes you can't, and it's usually right on an edge. I used to do my crochet projects many moons ago, not doing the tapestry, and it always falls out, and you know, you're kind of upset you don't spend the time to do it, but it takes really motivation. So we're just going to drag the yarn through the back. If I see the hook on the front side, I know I've gone too deep, so just going through once. Don't warp the project at all. So when you pull through, just pull taut, but don't pull like so it's tight. Okay, and going through 3 times, and therefore that'll never fall out on you. And then you're just gonna put that aside. So you just need to make 2 of these. Let's pull up a miniature version plus this one. You can block it later, so if it's not sitting completely flat, just check for any loose tails that you may have, and just clean it up and just lay it nice and flat. And let's look at a miniature version. So this is a really big, I love big granny squares like this. That's why I designed it, and you can see the smaller version. See, it's only 1/4 of the size. So whether you want to do a miniature or a big one like that, it's kind of fun, and you can play around with your colors, make it really kind of cool, and that's it for now. So have a good one, and we'll hope to see you again next month as we continue our journey. And if this is you're following in the stitch along is done, this was something that we did in the summer of 2019.